everybody, I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just wanted to issue major spoiler alert. We are going to be going over everything that happened in episode 3 of the Creature Commandos series. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to Max, check out that episode, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
All right, joining with me to break down everything from episode 3 of Creature Commandos, it's Jon Jon Rico.
Cheers to the Tin Man.
Cheers to the Tin Man.
Cheers to the Tin Man.
Oh,
My
man.
God.
Get right into it. Yeah, this episode, it had robots, it had cats, it had more new songs that are stuck in my head. It had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and killing Nazis.
So many.
It had everything. But yeah, get right into it. Rico, what were some of your instant reactions for episode 3?
Yeah, nothing like a really good murder robot story. Am I right? And I feel like we're getting, because I'm also loving SM33 and Skeleton Crew, so I feel like I'm getting a lot of like really cool badass robot moments lately, and I'm really loving it. But man, this was like one of the episodes I was probably looking forward to if I was wanting to learn about all these characters' backstory. GI Robot was definitely near the top of that list for me, and yeah, I the fact that we got it like right away, episode 3 already, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why we got it, because it ended with a bang. Literally, his story ended with a bang. So, but yeah, absolutely incredible through and through. I didn't expect that like his story would have so much depth to it, like for as straightforward as he is. Like, I'm here on program to kill Nazis, and that's what I do. The way that James Gunn is just able to kind of weave the story around and create some emotion out of it, and have some really good payoff for it. It's just really well crafted, and yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this one.
Yeah, same. I thought it was really cool how I mean, look, before I get ahead of myself, you wanna get into some big takeaways?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, this is why I stopped myself, because I was about to start talking like about my big takeaway, and I was like, wait a minute, let me just pull it back for a second. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I really enjoyed how we got, not only did we get the backstory or some more depth in GI Robot's past and stuff like that, but we have that woven in with everything, the chaos that's happening in present, basically. Yeah. So I thought it was really cool that we used every second of runtime for this episode for a story, whether it was, flashing to the present and the chaos and the battle and everything like that, or whether it was, jumping back, giving us this depth and this, this story about, showing us more about this. Robot might not even be the best term for it. AI that's in the robot type of thing, and showing that there is more depth to this character and all of this backstory and everything like that. But I just thought it was done so well, because I mean, these episodes are not long. We're not talking about like 45-minute episodes,
20-minute episodes to tell these stories, and they're fitting a lot in.
Exactly, especially because we had basically two storylines going at the exact same time, and they did it well. Like, it wasn't like, oh, that was jarring because we just jumped back into the present time, or we jumped back to the past. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was woven together very well, and for me, that made both storylines that were going on at the same time more impactful, like type of thing, because you got the backstory, so you care more about GI Robot when the events of the present are happening and ending with the big bang that you were talking about. Yeah, it's just, and we put that more new music in, especially the coin operated boy. Was that the title of it?
Coin operated boy, all the other real ones that I destroy.
Yeah, especially when you put that over him just shooting
Yeah, and Rick Flag Sr. just like giving him the okay, like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're Nazis. And you're just like, yes, he's gonna do it. It's just like, oh my gosh, like the way they just make you so invested in that is perfect.
Absolutely. But Rico, what were some of your big takeaways for episode 3?
Yeah, it's the same thing. The weaving in the current story, of course, with the princess and Cersei and all that is just really awesome because it's moving really fast. Like we jump straight from the fight between the bride and Cersei to the team and going to rescue them and then going right back to what they have to do. Again, on top of GI's like incredibly rich history, like his whole story that he's gone through, just decades since World War II and stuff like that. So that's the balancing act is just incredible. And then also like the fact that they're adding in this like emotional story between him and Nina at the same time too, like the way that he cares specifically about Nina. Like, well, where's Nina? Okay, I'm gonna be the one to go rescue her.
Right.
And then like they have that really sweet kind of moment, and it comes full circle around when after GI Robot blows up, and they have that moment when he shuts down too. You're just like, God damn, like this is so well done. Like about this relationship between a robot and a fish girl, and you're just like, what is happening here? Like that's James Gunn, I think at his best, in my opinion. But I remember when he was talking about this series, because he obviously James Gunn is known for working with a lot of like the same actors that because obviously they love working with James at the same time. That's just the kind of relationship that he forms with them. But we get the great Michael Rooker in this series, and he said this was a role that we wouldn't like expect to see him in, and I think to a degree he was right, because when we first meet him, he seems like this very sweet, kind of like unassuming kind of a guy who just likes to collect war memorabilia. Like, okay, I like this guy. Like, he seems very nice, and he's given GI Robot like a home and like this family.
Has a family of cats.
Yeah, he has a family of cats, of course. And so you're like, okay, this guy's just like, he's just living his life with his cats and his war memorabilia. He's not hurting anybody. And then you learn more about him, and it leads to this big moment with GI Robot that obviously leads to him killing a bunch of modern day Nazis that he didn't expect. The fact that he did not hesitate to kill his best friend first too, like as soon as you learn, like, nope, you're the first one, boom. Like, just absolutely insane. Like the whole roller coaster that they take you on with that character. But yeah, and then also like that's obviously the way that it shows how he gets into the position that he's in to be a part of the Creature Commandos. So yeah, to see Michael Rooker kind of be in that, like, I think he's a good guy, but no, he's actually secretly a Nazi. I'm like, that's kind of like Merle-ish.
I know, yeah, that was definitely like
it's not totally unfamiliar for him, I guess, but I guess it's more like the way it played out is not what we expected for that character. But yeah, I absolutely love that. And again, either the coin-operated boy on top of him having fun killing Nazis, or even just like the soft music that's kind of playing when he's sitting in the cage in the cell, and the times running through, like everything is just so well done. And I was just like, yeah, I want more. I just want more.
Yeah, same. I'm really enjoying. I mean, it's our second week in this series, third episode, because we had the 2-episode premiere. But yeah, I mean, I hope this series goes for multiple seasons and stuff like that already. Like I'm already enjoying it that much, where like I would like to get as much of this as possible. Like this universe of characters, even if we add some new people, take some people away, like, you know what I mean?
And the way that James Gunn is kind of subtly building out this universe, whether using the sons of Themyscira and Cersei, and then kind of using that storyline to kind of open up whatever the Amazon stuff is going to be. But even the stuff in the middle of the episode with GI Robot and Dr. Magnus, the scientist who kind of makes all those I guess all the like kind of like upgrades on him that we see at the end of the episode, like when he turns into the half body
hover,
he did. And that the imagery of that, where it's just kind of like him in the silhouette in the sun, just blasting off his guns, it's just like, oh my gosh, so good. But just the fact that you have like this guy who would end up like using GI Robot as like a template to make more automatons, as he said. That's just now is something that we can think of within the greater DC world. Like there's his creations probably somewhere out there, either causing havoc or doing good. The guy gave me more of an evil vibe in some way. So I would imagine that like those things are going to be a problem for maybe some other hero, or maybe this team to deal with in some form or another. So yeah, even just like kind of throwing in those characters and just like establishing them in a certain timeline within the DC world is just really well done. Like it's layer building with James Gunn. So it's just like, yeah, all these characters are right here. They already exist. We don't have to like keep setting them up for like origins. Like they're just there. They're doing their thing, and we're off to the races. So yeah, I just like that really big world building that we're happening at the same time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And that kind of rolls perfectly. You want to get to some predictions?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, why don't you kick off predictions?
Okay, well, okay, so the episode itself ends on a pretty like big cliffhanger, I would think, because after Weasel absolutely dismantles Cersei by just like scratching up her back, and then Phosphorus come in and give her the old hand burn to the face. Like, first of all, that was just a really gruesome scene. I like the way they showed like Rick Flag Senior like being like, "What the fuck?" and then Brian be like, "Yeah, you wanted monsters, you got monsters." I was like, "That's perfect." Like, there you go. Like now he sees what he's really gotten himself into and what these characters are really capable of. And then, but Cersei, being an Amazonian kind of woman, she's got the power. She's strong enough to withhold all that damage. She's like, you guys doom the world basically, but now let me kill Princess Alana. And you're like, wait, what does this like girl have to do that she's like dooming the world by not killing her?
You don't understand what you've done. You've doomed the world.
So yeah, I'm really wondering what's happening there because I was already getting weird vibes from the princess already, like just like her confidence, approaching Rick Flag Senior. Like it just felt like she was really trying to manipulate him, as opposed to just being like, I just think you're hot and I want to bang you, kind of thing. But yeah, now I'm like, what's the bigger story here in like the current day stuff with Cersei and why? What is her intent now? What is so important that we need with the princess dead now? So what's the big mystery around that essentially?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can see from the rundown, I had the exact same thoughts, which is why it's perfect that you kind of went first, because like I don't really have much more to add on to that. Like I think it's the perfect way to end this episode, because now it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Like everything, and now we just have a week to wonder and to kind of speculate and think about this. And then I'm also curious, are we going to get any kind of answer in the next episode, or is that just a tease for like more in the distant future type of thing? Because just like you were saying, James Gunn has been kind of using this as kind of a springboard for other things that could be happening in the DCU, in other projects and stuff like that we don't even know what strings could be going from this from this series in general to like other projects in the DCU, like in the future and stuff like that. So like it's the type of mystery where, yes, I would really like to get an answer to and to figure it out but it's also the type of mystery where maybe we don't figure it out this season, like type of thing. Like maybe
or it's only going to escalate and lead to something bigger. Yeah.
Right. So it's just really interesting. And I mean, as everybody knows, like we are recapping, multiple series at the same time. And I've already kind of gone on record to say this with Skeleton Crew. I really like, where we do have this underlying mystery, in a series and stuff like that, because that keeps you kind of always looking for like little clues and little Easter eggs and what is really happening type of thing. And I think this is another perfect example of that, like where, the episodes are great. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Without the mystery, but the mystery just adds that little extra like that, like is cool, because now we have this running mystery throughout the rest of the season type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also we have the is GI Robot really done? Is it, or are they going to put them back together? I was they are still like within the vicinity of the Frankenstein lab. So I was talking about we already have the Bride of Frankenstein. We have Eric Frankenstein too, who's still kind of looming around. I wonder if it's kind of a thing where they actually might need to like go to him and maybe he'll be the one that actually puts GI Robot back together, like being like, hey, I put your friend back together. Will you love me, bride? Kind of a thing. So he kind of does it out of love, I would imagine. That'd actually be like a really funny kind of like storyline to kind of fall through. And I would like that because, they still show Frankenstein in the open credits, but we haven't seen him with the team yet. So I want to see I think that's also another big storyline I want to see kind of continued on, is like, I want to see Eric Frankenstein with the team and this kind of like budding relationship between him and the bride, just kind of like play out like just through their banter alone. But yeah, that I want to see more GI Robot and Nina too. Like that, yeah, there's so many little like relationship story, like our character dynamics too. I just want to see keep playing out, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Same. I am here for everything that is in store for the rest of the season. Yeah. I'm very excited. We're very early in the season, but I'm already, what we've got so far, I think it's been awesome so far. So
absolutely.
Very excited for, episode 4 next week. It's going to be a long wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 3? And what do you think about this crazy mystery, you know, with the princess? Like, what is like the whole big thing surrounding her? And is this the last we've seen of G.I. Robot? Or, you know, hopefully he's going to be put back together again. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.